Welcome to Money Making Sense, the show that talks about all things money. We are starting our tax tips series this year, and joining me today is Mike Criddle with Eide Bailey. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
You are going to try to tell me why I should hire a CPA, because let me tell you, dude, like, you're just way too expensive. I can do this all on my own. I can save plenty of money, get all the refunds that I want on my tax return, right?
Well, that's what a lot of people think. Certainly, there are different levels of complexity with tax returns. There are those that necessitate a higher level of expertise and those that necessitate a lower level of expertise. But CPAs exist at kind of all levels, and so somebody with a more complicated situation can find a CPA that has the expertise to help with that, and those with less complicated situations can find CPAs that specialize in that.
Can any CPA take care of any person's problems?
Well, the fact of the matter is CPAs specialize within the profession, and so there certainly are going to be those that have more experience and more knowledge and expertise in certain areas versus others, not unlike doctors or lawyers or any other kind of professionals.
So if I have a sole ownership corporation or sole proprietorship, I run it out of my home, I would probably want to go to someone who specializes in that type of accounting versus if I have some multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Right, exactly, yeah. And there are those that do a lot of sole proprietorship type of clients, and so they know the kind of deductions that you should be looking for. They've had a number of discussions with both federal and state tax regulator kinds of individuals, and so they can talk about the risks and talk about the challenges and really have a meaningful discussion with you about how you want to approach your tax situation and your filings.
Okay, so what if I don't own, I don't have a company, not a sole proprietorship, it's just me. I'm one individual. Why would I need a CPA?
Well, oftentimes individuals throughout their life experience come across unique or unusual transactions. My grandfather passed away several years ago, and my aunt is living in his home. Well, the state of Utah condemned half her property for the expansion of a freeway, and she's dealing with a number of very unique tax situations that she normally wouldn't deal with. And a CPA is perfect for that kind of scenario to kind of help navigate those challenges.
Okay, not that you want to live on right at the side of a freeway, but if only half your property is condemned, how do you own the other half? Like, how does that work?
Well, it's very tricky, but as long as there's a minimal amount of land, then apparently it works. And so they had just over a half an acre. Now they just have a quarter of an acre, and there are a number of tax implications associated with the condemnation of their property and the payments that they received in association with that.
Okay, so I'm a bookkeeper by trade, so
Okay.
I'm pretty handy with most of my taxes, but I just sold and bought a new home this year, and I'm feeling like that might be just a little bit over my pay grade. So who would I go to if I needed help?
Yeah, so there are a lot of local CPAs that deal with individuals that may have a unique transaction in a particular year, like buying or selling a home, and they have a lot of experience with reviewing the tax settlements or the settlement statements that come with your closing and looking for those deductions that you'd be entitled to in both the acquisition and sale of a home. They can also help explain the rules for excluding the gain on a sale of a personal residence, because there are some rules that you need to understand in order to be able to exclude gain on the appreciation of your home that you're living in when you ultimately sell it.
Okay, so the next important question, how much are you charging?
Well, different CPAs charge different amounts relative to the level of complexity. So, on the low end, it may be a couple of $100s. On the high end, it could be several thousand. It really is driven by the level of complexity and the amount of time, effort, and expertise that you need to address your situation.
If I pay, let's say it's the low end, because I like that. Let's say it's the $200 amount. Should I expect that I can recoup that $200 by going to a CPA?
Yeah, generally speaking, CPAs, because of their knowledge and expertise, can help you find deductions that you wouldn't find otherwise, help you avoid risk areas that could result in additional tax in the future. And so it's really a combination of getting additional monies refunded that you may not have gotten otherwise, and avoiding potential issues that would cost you money in the future. I think kind of an example of that is when I first got married, my mother-in-law was very like, you know, I know you're a CPA, but I do my own taxes and I don't really want to get you involved because, you know, my financials are private and whatnot. And I said, that's fine. But after a couple of years, she came to me and she's like, I feel like I'm paying a lot in tax. And I said, well, let me just look at 1 year and we'll see if there's something there. And I ended up looking at it. It saved her $2,000, and we ended up going back and amending 2 previous years to get her some additional money.
Ooh.
So
a CPA could actually fix some previous tax statements.
yes, exactly.
Okay. How many years can I send to you?
You can go back the prior year and then 2 years previous to that.
Oh,
So you
okay.
can go up to 3 years.
All right,
back.
expect 3 years on your desk tomorrow.
Awesome.
Okay, all right. Anything else we need to know about why someone would choose a CPA instead of trying to do it themselves?
Well, ultimately, everyone needs to kind of decide their particular level of risk and complexity. But I think CPAs, generally speaking, are really happy to just sit down and talk with people and try to help them understand the aspects of their unique situation and how a CPA might help. I'm a real value-driven kind of guy, so I'm not going to ask somebody to pay me a bunch of money unless I can really provide them value.
Wait, one last question, because we have been talking about CPA, a certified public accountant.
Yes.
What's the difference between a CPA and a tax preparer?
Well, CPAs, in order to be a CPA, it requires a master's degree in the state of Utah. Or an hour requirement that's comparable. They have to take an exam in order to demonstrate a level of proficiency, and they're required to do ongoing continuing education. So with a CPA, you have the confidence that they have both the expertise and the ongoing continuing professional education that they need to really be up on the tax law changes, like the recent tax reform, both at the federal and state level, that are really impacting individuals today.
Okay. And a tax preparer, some of those big box stores that you hear this time of the year during tax season, they may charge a little bit less, but they may not also be as knowledgeable about helping you find the savings or going back 3 years and figuring stuff out.
Precisely. But one of the big things where CPAs drive value is forward looking. And you're not going to get that from one of these big box stores. They have the ability to sit down with you and talk through what are your transactions or your situation tomorrow and next year and the following year, and what are the decisions you need to be thinking about and making relative to your tax situation for future transactions.
Okay, great. Mike Criddle, you are with Eide Bailey. And like I said, expect a bunch of paperwork on your desk tomorrow. Go to UACPA.org to find a CPA that's right for you. Thanks for watching Money Making Sense.
Thanks for being a Money Making Sense listener. Follow your common sense on social media. Money Making Sense on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.